Luton, Linus Udofia.
You know shit about boxing.
Hi there, I'm Danny Flex and welcome to the latest edition of You Don't Know Shit About Boxing, a podcast brought to you by the team behind SecondsOut. And as always, I'm joined by my glamorous assistant, aka co-host, Miss Georgia Banks.
Saw me earlier, you wouldn't say that, but thank you. Hello.
Yeah, lucky I'm saying it now. Before we get into today's topic, I'd like to welcome our very special guest.
Fighting out of Luton, Linus Udofia.
Why did Diamante only say your name once? Did you piss him off?
No. We have a special relationship, me and him.
We'll get into that if we've got time. Linus Udofia, you could be a week away from being the new, or 9 days as we film this, from being the new British middleweight champion. How do you feel?
Yeah, very good. Very well. Very, very good. And first, I am a week away from, do you know what I mean? It's going to happen. I can't see any other result, and that's no disrespect to him. I just believe.
Denzel Bentley's just buzzing my phone.
Yeah. No disrespect to him. I can't see any other result. I can't see anything else. But yeah, feeling really good. I had my last bar today. I'm just tapering down now. This is the not so fun bit. This is you remember like 12 weeks out and you're getting on, you're doing all your training, you got all your stuff set out for your camp, book into your rooms or whatever, and you start going for it. But then that flies by, and then you're in the last week, and it just slows right down, and it's just horrendous. But 9 days time,
It's flown by, really.
Yeah, May 13th, is it? 13th?
Yeah, May 13th.
London.
May 13th.
Denzel Bentley, former British champion, in the opposite corner, looking to regain the Lonsdale belt. You looking to win it for the first time. Former English champion, of course. George, you followed Linus's career for probably longer than I have. Well, what do you think about the journey and British title shot?
He's all right, isn't he? Linus is one of those fighters that, it's like, what, you 17-0 now? It's going to be your 18th fight.
It'd be embarrassing if you got it wrong, but yeah.
Good job on him, isn't it? So like my dad brought it up the other day. He was like, yeah, but you look at it on paper, you'd think Denzel's going to win this because he's got more knockouts, but I don't see it.
I'm not going to say your dad don't know shit about boxing, even though it's another way to plug the title, but...
Yeah, I was sending you voice notes at the time, wasn't I? And he's just like, yeah, your dad does not rate me.
Yeah, her dad don't rate me at all.
What do you make of Denzel? There's easier fights for vacant British titles over the years.
What's an easy fight at this level though? Like, name an easier fight for that title?
I don't know. Like, you've been in with Tyler Denny. He's in and around that level, isn't he? I suppose.
Yeah, I still wouldn't say that's an easy fight. I don't
no, but easier, arguably, than someone who's held the title before.
Yeah, but that's not really my style. I don't really want an easier fight. You know what I mean? It's a prestigious belt. I want to win it. And there's a certain thing, like if you go in there and you beat someone that, if I fought Denny, I beat him before. If I fought him for a bigger title and beat him, it wouldn't be the same. Do you know what I mean? I've already done it. It's almost like a cheat. You know what I mean? I want to test myself. I want to push myself. I want to move on from British. I feel like there's so much more to me, and I get better every fight. And it'd be, you know what I mean? I want to challenge myself as well. I want to see where I am. I want to see what level I am or what I can get to. And fighting the easier opponents isn't going to get me there. So fights like this are what I love. So, you know what I mean? Fighting easy opponents isn't really my thing.
You plugged away for a long time on the small hall circuit, obviously Goodwin Promotion shows. You've had support roles on big shows as well. This is on Channel 5, the first show of the new relationship between them and Wasserman Boxing, who promote you, of course. How excited are you about being the focal point of terrestrial TV coverage?
Yeah, I'm good. I feel good about it. It's like you said, it's been a long time coming. I've done it the hard way, and I'd say it, excited, yeah, but it feels right. It feels like I should be here at this point doing this. You know what I mean? When Wasserman first came knocking on my door, it was the way they spoke about me and they approached me. I could tell straight away these guys see me as an investment. Like before, I've been on different networks. I've been on this, but I was always surprised. Man, I was always the one that let's put him on. He's not the main point. He's not the main focus. But let's put him on and see what he does. And if he does something good, keep him on. But if not, even though he wins, chuck him away. But it's a bit different now. And a massive shout out to Wasserman and Channel 5 for getting a deal done and for actually putting this on and putting me as a vocal point. I feel like this is the right time. And everyone's going to see, like domestically and throughout the nation, everyone's going to see who I am and what I'm about.
I was actually a bit annoyed in your last fight because they put you on, like 6 o'clock?
Yeah.
Fuming.
Yeah, there was a lot like with that. There was a lot more with that. We I don't really want to lawsuits off.
None either way.
I'll say it off camera, but there were reasons for those situations. But it's it's always been the bridesmaid, but I always kind of stole the show at some point. So it's not really been a bad deal, is it?
Just imagine you as a bridesmaid now. It's not a great image, I've got to be honest. But moving on from that as quickly as possible. Wasserman Boxing, you talked about how they have faith in you and they believe in you. They beat Frank Warren in purse bids, which doesn't happen much, certainly not this year. That must be a real statement of intent on their behalf and their faith in you.
Yeah. To be fair, I don't think Frank had any more money after doing the it was two things said to me. He said, these guys think I'm the shit, like, and yeah, I am. But they think
nice when someone else thinks it.
Yeah, of course, it's nice when they're like, you know what, and when he told me the bid and the amount, I was like, no pressure, boys. But yeah, I'm up for this. And when we won it, I was jumping about. I loved it, and it was really good, and it showed a lot of faith and it showed a lot of intent from them. So I was like, you know what, not only are you telling me that, that you want to deal with me and you want me on and you want all these promises to me, you're actually doing it as well. And it's, it showed a lot to me.
While Linus against Bentley is one of the biggest British fights of the year so far, this weekend out in Las Vegas, got one of the biggest worldwide fights of the year between CANELO and Dmitry Bivol. And CANELO, that is, will be the subject, no disrespect to Bivol, will be the subject of this week's main topic. And I suppose asking you, Linus, first of all, what are your kind of thoughts on CANELO? Is he someone you've looked up to as you've got into boxing over the years?
If I'll keep it, strictly professional and keep it, just boxing wise, yeah, since I watched him a bit, but since I knew a bit about him before he fought Mayweather. And when he fought Mayweather, I kind of, I got into it. I saw, let me see what he's about. And I saw how he fought. The Triple G, fights were absolutely, it was just perfect, like well needed fights like that. And, I looked into him. I looked into him quite a bit, and he's just improved. He's taken a lot of hard fights that he didn't need to. He could have fought different kind of fighters, which he, to an extent was as he was getting up there. And he had the right fights at the right time. The Cinco de Mayo fights, Chavez Jr. He didn't, but that was all a Mexican thing. And he had the right development fights, and now he's literally in his peak, and he's just at the minute unstoppable. And but obviously one thing that's always gonna kind of put a question mark in my head, and I can never really put him in any list of mine. It's just the whole doping thing. I can't, none of that sits well with me in any way, and it is what it is. That's just my opinion though. I only speak for myself, and I don't really put him in any rankings of my own. I think he's got good skills and things like that, but I think he's a great fighter, a very good fighter, but it's just the whole PD thing. I can never look past it.
Does that kind of make it any more frustrating, the fact that he has got all that ability? So there's an element of he didn't even need to do that.
It's such a hard one, because everyone goes, what's everyone really kicking off about PEDs? It's not going to give you the skills. It's not going to help you throw a lean back counter better. Yes, no, it won't. It's not going to do that, but okay, say you're someone that's doing a camp right now. I go into the gym 2 to 3 times a day. That first session on a Monday, I'll be 100%. The second one, I'll be 80, 85. The last one, I'll be about 60. When you're on PEDs, depending on what you're on, you're walking in at 100 every single one. You're not making any mistakes. You're not as tired. You're lasting longer. You're doing more. You're hitting PBs every session. Again, I'm not saying it teaches you how to be a better boxer, but you've got better facilities. Like you're not burnt out in these sessions. You've got that sharpness. You're coming back in at 100%. So you technically are learning a bit more than you would have if you weren't. Again, I'm not taking the skills away from. I'm not saying PEDs are wise, that's good, but it just doesn't. I can never really entertain a conversation too much, you know.
Georgia,
and I know the whole. Well, literally, our topic is Canelo. So, I'm going to speak professionally. I'm not. It's not about my personal views.
We're still discussing him, aren't we? It's just obviously doesn't all have to be positive. Georgia, you a fan of Canelo?
Pretty much everybody I speak to says the same thing. Everybody's a little bit tainted by the whole meat drugs thing.
Meat drugs thing. Technical insight here on you don't know shit about boxing.
For me, Canelo's one of those fighters. I think you get one in every 10, 15 years. He's a very, very special fighter. And he's one of these fighters that he draws in the casuals, he draws in the purists. And I love watching him. I think it's a masterclass every time. Can I see him losing? Not anytime soon. It's exciting. It's exciting even though you know what's going to happen.
So we know how good Canelo is, and we know that he's been busted for clenbuterol. That's what you found out if you didn't know in the last 5 or 10 minutes. But we now go over to Lean Josh Green in the green room with some facts about Canelo you may not know.
Thank you very much, guys, and welcome back to the green room. I'm here to take you through 5 facts that you hopefully won't know about Canelo Alvarez. Of course, renowned as one of the best pound-for-pound boxers, the best pound-for-pound boxer in the world today. So let's get into the facts. First of all, his brothers. He has 6 brothers, all of who have turned professional in the world of boxing, and one of them has even become a world champion. Rigoberto was crowned the WBA super welterweight world champion interim and became the first champion in the Alvarez family. Canelo, of course, has gone on to eclipse that. He's won so many championships over the years. But terrific achievement for 2 world champions in that family, and of course all of them being professional. We'll move on to his fight with Floyd Mayweather. What seems like many, many years ago was actually the highest grossing sporting event in history at the time. $150 million was the revenue, with 20 million being taken on the gate. And Canelo's net worth, as of now, is approximately $140 million. Absolutely incredible numbers from the pound-for-pound king. Now, boxing isn't the only sport that Canelo has got a good hand in. He's actually a very handy golfer. It's said that he plays off around 9-10 handicap, which makes him very, very useful out on the course. He said in previous interviews that it's something that he'd like to focus on more once he finally hangs up the gloves. And I definitely wouldn't put it past him to be joining the PGA Tour in the years to come. Something else that is often overlooked in the boxing career of Canelo is the fact that he faced Miguel Vasquez in just his 3rd fight. Of course, Vasquez, we know, went on to become a IBF lightweight champion, and we've seen him over here many times over the years against Lewis Ritson, in Peterborough. We saw him against O'Hara Davies, Gary Cully not so long ago as well. Obviously facing such a high caliber opponent early on, we weren't to know what Vasquez was going to go on to achieve, but looking back at it, what a fight for Canelo to take, and obviously something that set him up well fighting such great opponents early on in his career. And finally, we'll move on to the fact he's an absolutely massive Michael Jackson fan. Probably something you wouldn't have taken on face value, but it's said that he uses the song Beat It by Michael Jackson in his training camps and in his locker room pre-match to fights, as the rhythm is something that really gets him in the mood and in the style, ready to get into the ring. And if that's something that works for Canelo, you're definitely not going to look past it. So Canelo, a Michael Jackson fan, a golf player, and a pound-for-pound king. There's 5 facts about Canelo Alvarez.
Thanks for that, Josh. And green room's looking pretty swish these days.
That always makes me laugh. Thanks for that, Josh.
Yeah, he's obviously getting paid too much. He looks like he's upgrading the room every week. So Canelo this weekend has got a different type of challenge in Dmitry Bivol. He's been up at light heavyweight before. It's not the first time, but he goes in as the challenger, which we haven't seen for a little while. Bivol, good all-rounder, technically skilled, not the biggest light heavyweight, but someone who's kind of good at everything, very solid all-round fighter. What do you make of Bivol and his chances in Vegas?
Excellent fighter, very well-schooled, amateur style, old school Russian amateur style. You know, he's a very, very, very clean fighter. Doesn't really make too many mistakes. Everything's tight, compact. You know, it's a hard one because I've actually made a bet with my stablemate Brad, and I've gone with Bivol. I can see Bivol outboxing him. I can see. He's got good feet, man. He's got good feet. He's in and out. It's one of them, and I know I'm gonna, you know what I mean, the comments on this is gonna be horrendous.
What have you bet?
How much?
Just a tenner each. You know what I mean? Like, and if it's the fight's a draw, Ellis gets both half money.
He's smart, isn't he?
So it's one of those. I'm not going off Bivol's last fight against Richards. I think there was a lot in that. I think
He fought somebody else after that.
Before that one, the last fight in my head against Richards, and I'm not going off that one, but you know, I've seen Bivol for a while since he first come through, and I think his style is very different to what Canelo's been used to, and I've never felt like the only last person I thought was gonna beat Canelo was Billy Joe. Before that,
Did you?
Yeah, I thought genuinely Billy Joe would beat him.
I think a lot of people did because of the style.
And you know, Billy Joe was doing. I'm not saying he was winning the fight, but he was doing very well.
He was competitive,
I think where he made the mistake was I think he hit Canelo with something big. He got excited. He threw more and he fell into it. And you know what I mean? It just come apart a little bit. And obviously his face got fucking smashed into pieces. But he was the last person I ever felt like that. Before Mayweather, and even before that, like I haven't felt, except for Lara. I knew Lara beat him and would beat him when he fought him, but completely years ago. That's different Canelo. But Bivol's the only person I've ever fought, like kind of seen. When the fight got made, I thought, I don't know about this one. Like I'm not saying outright he's going to beat him, but I can see it. You know what I mean? I'm sitting on the Bivol fence, but it's close, you know what I mean? But winning a close decision against Canelo is kind of...
Well, this is the thing. Someone was saying earlier, I spoke to someone on the phone who's out in Vegas, and they said not only does Canelo usually get the benefit of the doubt with the Vegas judges, but our judge is going to give a Russian fighter the decision with the current world climate. And I don't know if they actually think about stuff like that, but... I
mean, they shouldn't. It's boxing, not politics, you know what I mean? I get it, like, all that's going on, but I'm not even going to speak on that. It's, you know what I mean? This is boxing, so it doesn't matter where they're from. It doesn't matter what their country's doing, you know what I mean? It shouldn't affect it, and if it does, that's disappointing. That'd be really disappointing.
It's whether Bivol can win the rounds big enough to get them on the judges' cards as well, because you've got to believe that at least some of them will go in with the idea that Canelo's the favourite, he's the superstar in the sport, he's got a more explosive style as well. Bivol, I think, is going to have to be dominant to get the decision. And that might not be fair, but, you know, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you saw Plant when he fought Canelo. He was active. He was active the whole. You know, he controlled a lot of the fight. Canelo just cut the ring off really well. He cut the ring. The writing was on the wall maybe from like the 7th or 8th. Like as soon as Canelo just started stepping that little bit closer, started throwing him that little bit harder. He was getting outboxed, but it was one of those where, you know, he just had to beat on him until he finished. And I thought, you know what, if Plant can get out of the rounds, if he can nick and get out of the rounds, he can nick it. It'll be on points, but he can do it. But you know what I mean, obviously he couldn't. But he's got to. Like Bivol's got to be busy. He's got to be busy. He's got to not get the crowd on his side, but he's got to really limit what Canelo feels comfortable doing. Do you know what I mean? He's really got to limit that. I think he's a good enough boxer. I wouldn't really try and stand with Canelo, but I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I think it's going to be. I think Bivol's going to take not the back foot approach, but you know what I mean, try and keep it amateur style in and out and just try and pop his head off. Don't really give him time to settle. Don't let him walk him down and things like that. That's how I think he's got to try and win this fight, because he won't. I've never seen Canelo take a back step. Do you know what I mean? And that's not going to happen.
Maybe the first Golovkin fight. That's the last time I can remember him backing off at all.
He took a right hand and just kind of looked at him, and I was like, as soon as I saw that, I went, "Oh, this his chin tested." He's past that one.
There's a concern, I think, that he could look past Bivol as well, just because the Golovkin third fight's been arranged already, set in for September. Do we think that's a possibility?
Do you ever overlook an opponent?
I don't see Canelo, not at this stage, at this level, how much of a draw he is. He can't look, and look at his resume for his last 6 fights. He's like, you can't look past any of those fighters, you know, no matter what you do to him, no matter how you go for it. He's not looking past this fight. He knows what he has to do. He knows the fights he's got lined up. He's right now, he's the man that everyone wants. Anyone around like free weights around him, everyone wants that. You know, he knows that, and he can't. You know what I mean? And realistically, no matter what fights he has, he makes money. Like, no matter, he can fight Bivol, he can go and fight Yard if he wants to. He still make money. He can do, and that's no disrespect to Yard. No. But it's just, my point is, he can fight anybody and still make a ton of money.
45 million or 65 million or something to fight a few different people.
Yeah, I read 45 for Charlo and 65 catch weight for Spence.
Yeah.
And it's just,
mental money.
Yeah, but he's the man. He's the man of the hour. He's the man that when Mayweather everyone was on his case. Everyone wanted the Mayweather fight. Everyone wanted this. But Canelo's the man now. He's the only person in boxing that everyone's like, I want that. MMA fighters are calling him out. Like, everyone's calling him out. So it's that. He's the man now.
We can hear from Canelo and Bivol from the press conference earlier this week. But starting off with the promoter of the event, Eddie Hearn. You may have heard of him.
I've never worked with anyone like Canelo Alvarez and Eddie Reynoso. This is a true great of modern day boxing. When you look at the resume coming off the back of the Gennady Golovkin 2 fights, the fights against Daniel Jacobs for the middleweight championship, stepping up 2 divisions to fight Sergey Kovalev for the WBO light heavyweight championship, and within 1 year becomes undisputed 168-pound championship by beating all 3 champions in Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders and Caleb Plant. If that wasn't enough, now he moves up again another division to fight, in my opinion, the best light heavyweight in the world in Dmitry Bivol. Dmitry Bivol, undefeated, current WBA champion of the world. We've worked with him for a long time. His manager, Vadim Kornilov, and World of Boxing, who we have a great relationship with. This young man has been looking for an opportunity like this for a long time. This is not a young man that's reached the end of his career or is past his prime. This is an outstanding champion that is in his absolute prime, ready for the opportunity of his life against the pound-for-pound king of boxing, Saul Canelo Alvarez.
Yes, me and my team wanted this fight, have won this fight, and I'm glad this fight will be in the в главном городе, в боксерском, скорее всего, будет он, да. То есть меня это радует.
If it happens here in the United States, in one of the biggest towns of boxing, biggest mecca of boxing, it's also very exciting. It means a lot. Что для тебя эта победа значит этот бой?
Победа вообще означает, что мы можем сражаться с одними из лучших боксеров мира, и я смогу показать свои лучшие качества. Наконец меня увидит большая публика.
This is very important for me, especially because I'm fighting one of the best in the world, or the best in the world right now, and I want people to be able to see me and to be able to see my skills. And this is a big fight that can give me the ability to achieve my other goals and to go on if I win this fight.
I like challenge. That's make me feel alive. Challenge for me and everything in my life. So I like it. Really good challenge, and now I have a very good fighter in front, and I'm excited. I'm excited for this fight.
Well, that's got me buzzing for the big fight. And we put some questions out on social media earlier this week. So a bit of a debate erupted in the last week or so about Canelo and how he would have got on against Floyd Mayweather, who obviously beat him, but prime for prime. So would the Canelo of now stand a chance against the prime Mayweather? I think George has got a couple of social media responses before we give our views.
Okay, Amit has said, would not have mattered what Canelo's game plan was. He would not have been able to connect with consistency on a peak Mayweather. Would be a close fight than when they fought, especially with Alvarez's more controlled aggression. But Floyd would outbox him to a point win. There you go.
Good stuff.
Which I agree with.
Oh, there you go. That's your bit done then. Linus, what do you think? Prime for prime, Mayweather, Canelo? Or
Yeah,
Canelo, Mayweather?
It does obviously depend on the weight, but I don't think I mean, like they fought before. It does depend on the weight, but it's no one's beaten Mayweather in their prime. To be honest, he's just too much. Man doesn't get tired. The man knows all the tricks in the book, and he showed you how to beat Canelo. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it was a younger Canelo, it was an inexperienced Canelo, but you know, nobody beats Mayweather in their prime, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm inclined to agree. I'm a big Mayweather fan. I got to watch him live once, which was just amazing. He only fought one Manuel Marquez, who's a legend, but much, much smaller, and was quite an easy fight in reality. But just getting to see him up close, the little nuances, the skills, the footwork, the variety, timing, you could just go on for ages. But Canelo's got a lot of those attributes himself. But I just think boxing IQ, I don't think there's been anyone in the last 30 years perhaps that was better than Mayweather.
I did go around the office earlier asking everybody, and everybody said Mayweather. Nobody was Canelo.
Who's in your office? Anyone we know?
Probably.
Yeah, go on, out them.
No, the boxing team were on a shoot today.
Oh, right, so
I can ask them.
they're absolved from blame. Okay, now we didn't just get questions about Canelo and Mayweather. We also got questions for Linus Udofia, of course. And we go back to Andy White, who takes over this show. What is the daily life of a boxer actually like? And how do you earn a living day to day between fight purses?
OnlyFans.
Yeah.
It's not that, by the way. So
It's all behind the paywall.
So the first one, day to day, obviously if I've got a fight coming up, so from 12 weeks out, it'd just be, 1 or 2 sessions a day, 4 days a week maybe, and then you slowly ramp it up week by week. So I wake up, have my food or whatever, go to the gym, spar, do whatever I need to do, go back home, nap. This is just me, by the way. Nap and eat, do what I need to do, have another session later that day or chill out. And the closer you get, the more that intensifies. And then because I live quite 40 minutes drive away from my gym, and when it gets to like 2-3 sessions a day, I'm going to have to stay close because I don't really want to be going up and down the M25 all the time. So I'd get like a motel or hotel around the corner and just kind of live there, live right opposite the gym and do all my sessions there. And the second part of that, I've sponsors. I've 4 very good sponsors that pay me a good wage to just do this.
Feel free to shout them out.
Oh, thank you. Good. So Old Troll UK, D&I Butchers, The Lion, Hounslow, and Pepe's Piri Piri.
I thought you were going to forget that one.
You can't. If you name all the others, you can't forget the one, can you?
Yeah, and they, massive thank you to all these guys because it's not just like getting sponsors isn't just, oh yeah, I'm a boxer, sponsor me. Like it doesn't work like that. People pay not because they are like, oh my God, he's so talented. Like they know you are. A lot of people know you and they want you to get to the top, and they know that for you to do that, you need to put full time in it. So a lot of people just invest in you. And without these guys, I wouldn't be literally here. I wouldn't be able to say I do this for a living. Like this is what I do. Like, a lot of professional boxers still have jobs on the side. So without these guys, I couldn't do this.
But you do work as well.
Huh?
You do work as well, though.
Yes, I wouldn't call it work, but yeah. I wouldn't call it work, but yeah.
How long have you been able to be more or less a full-time boxer?
Since right before lockdown, funny enough. Luckily, right before lockdown, I went like full-time and went, I'm not doing electrics anymore. I'm not doing anything like that. I'm at the point where like I do some PTing on the side, but I'll do that like for me, like I do that for my own personal reasons. It doesn't, I don't look at the money in that sense. But yeah, so like where all my income or most of my income comes from is sponsors.
What's the worst job you had?
The worst job?
Yeah.
The worst job I've ever had. So I lasted 18 hours on this one. So there was a guy, so it was we were, what would we call it? I guess we were like aircon, or restaurant.
I can see why you didn't last.
The vents, like the
ventilation engineer.
No, cleaner, like we clean them, but it was like
Clean the vents.
Yeah, but it was like quite specialist because you needed like really like harsh chemicals. Anyway, it was one of my neighbours. I can't remember how I got this job, but we spoke or whatever, and he was like, look, yeah, this is what I do. Like, I'll pay you X amount. Like, come and do it with me. Like, sweet. Didn't realise that you had to get up before the restaurant's open. Like, you've got to, like, yeah. So I had to get up at like 3 or 2 in the morning. Get up, go to this job. I was on this roof, and it was freezing. And he's like, yeah, you got to go down here. You got to put all your flipping protective stuff on because this stuff will burn through your skin. Like, you got to be careful. So I'm doing this or whatever, spraying all this stuff. And I'm like, what is that smell? Like, what is? It's awful in here, but what is that smell? Like, what's going on? What is that? Turn around and it's burning through my trousers. Starts burning through my trousers. I just got it before I got to my thigh, and I jumped out, and I was like, and the guy we've got in a van, we've gone home, and he's like, oh, so tomorrow I'll pick you up. And I went, nah, I'm not coming back to this. So that was not because of, it was, I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. I've had worse. I won't go into it, but yeah, that was my worst one. That was my. Let's just.
What's in the vents? Just grease and dust.
Rats,
grease, yeah, some rats, some things you don't know how to. I saw a pigeon stuck because it'd gone in and couldn't get out from the grease, and it just stuck there and it dead. That was pretty bad. But yeah, I was an electrician most of my life. Like, since I turned 18, I was an electrician all the way up until about 26. So yeah, I can tell you a lot of jobs. I can tell you when I moved to a new company in Luton. I moved to one of my first jobs. It's a hot summer day. Like, literally easily the hottest day of the year. I experienced everything on this job. I experienced casual racism on this job. I experienced a lot of pain, like physically, and all sorts of embarrassment, you name it. Anyway, so I've gone into this house, knocked on the door, and this old guy, he's opened the door, and he's like, first thing he called me was a darkie. And I was like, great start. This is going to be fun. And he's got in, and my manager was like, oh yeah, so we're rewiring the whole house. It's a bungalow. And he goes, how we rewire bungalows only through the loft? And I went, okay, are you joking? He went, no, you're going to be in the loft all day. And I went, ooh, it's a hot day for that. Like, gave me like a massive suit that you go into the loft
protective clothing.
Yeah, so I've gone in, I'm a newbie, I'm erratic, I'm all over that loft. But anyway, he's wiring everything up, and I can hear like dripping, like just dripping, continuous dripping. I was thinking, what is that? And you just kind of, you bookmark it in the back of your head, you're like, whatever. Going. And I get to this bit and I've like tried to put my foot on like this joist, but I miss it. And I hit the plaster, but the plaster's wet for some reason. So my leg's falling through and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like hanging off trying to pull myself back in.
Jesus. What, with one leg from the
ceiling? One leg from the ceiling. Like, I'm trying to pull myself back up. And then I just go all the way through, slap on this guy's TV. I'm laying there on his fucking entertainment centre, holding my back. I'm looking around, he's on his sofa, just looking me up and down like, who's going to pay for that? That was easily the worst day of my life. What I'd done is I'd stepped on a soldered joint, one of the plumber's soldered joints, and it just dripped and it just made everything weak. And that was my first day with that company. Wasn't my last, but it was my first. That was a bad start.
Who did pay for it?
Oh, the company. They till this day still like remind me like I cost them a lot of money. Yeah.
Fair enough. We've got a couple of questions here from Martin Theobold, who I believe you know fairly well. New Age Boxing UK.
Good pal of mine.
Talented journalist as well.
Sexy man he is.
Oh,
sexy man.
He's got a lot of kids.
Exactly.
A lot of kids.
How many kids?
Proving my point.
At least 4, I want to say.
I think 5.
Yeah, maybe
He's
5.
5, yeah.
I was expecting you to say like more like 14.
No.
4 or 5.
Not like biblical
5
times.
is a lot of kids though, isn't it? One's a lot of kids.
Yeah, one's a lot. Yeah. One's enough.
Yeah, Martin's top man, Martin.
Yeah, let's see if you still
after
think
saying
this.
now.
Exactly.
He's cutting me off.
Nah, he's all right. Is there a risk that doing so many rounds with Brad Paul's in sparring that you could anticipate his style of fighter when you get into the ring rather than Denzel Bentley's style?
I haven't been doing a lot of rounds with Brad for this one. I've been doing a
Great
lot
journalist, terrible researcher.
Yeah. I haven't been doing a lot with. I think I've only sparred him once for about 8 rounds for this one. So I haven't actually been sparring Brad. I've been down in the matchroom lot sparring Craig Richards and Felix. Really, I haven't really been sparring Brad at all. So I get what he's saying, but no, he's wrong. He's wrong on that one.
He might win you back with this though. He says, when you win next Friday, Is the aim to go on and defend the belt to win it outright, which you have to defend it 3 times, or are you heading upwards immediately?
I want to win it first. Let me just, let's get that out of the way, and then we'll decide what we want to do. Like in a perfect world, win the British, and I think I'll defend it once and just see what else is around, see what's opened up. Brad's been waiting a little bit longer than I have, and it's time to. I don't want to. Winning a British belt is wicked outright, but it's this. And you know what? Actually, fun fact: Andy Clark came in the gym the other day. And he said, you don't actually have to do it consecutively. You can win it, defend it, do whatever else, come back, win it, defend it again, that you get it outright.
It's not got to be consecutive.
So I didn't actually know that. I
think one of them has to be a mandatory defence. I think that's the only condition.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Take that, Andy Clark.
Yeah.
Yeah, so have you and Brad, because we've talked about this a lot and it was brought up at the press conference as well, that he's kind of waiting in line behind you, you win a title, then he moves up and wins that title and so on because you're good friends, stable mates. Have you got a deal between the two of you that you'll hold it for a certain amount of time, then relinquish it so he can fight for it?
Not like that. We make jokes about it and, ultimately is what my management and trainer says, if it's just, it's even the English, when I had that for a while, I was just kind of like, let's just... Do you know what I mean? It's we've done it now. Let's move on. Do you know what I mean? It's good, but after maybe you've won it and then defended it, then what? It's time to get that next stone, isn't it? Like, I get the whole fighting mandatories and things like that, but none of that really matters until European and world level, really, does it?
Tell us a bit more about your trainer, because he's kind of an unsung hero in the UK.
God, we could be here all day. Like he's,
we can't.
Yeah, my parking ends at 10.
I was gonna say.
Nah, he's the man. Like I look at him like my dad, really. He's like, we're all like his kids, and he's seen every side of me. The guy sees me almost every day. He knows what makes me tick. He knows when I come in down. He knows when I'm up. He knows how to do everything. And he's just. Without him, I wouldn't be me. Do you know what I mean? And it's he deserves so much more praise, and I wouldn't be where I am without him. You know what I mean? And it's when I win stuff and win belts, it's half of it is for him, because me and Brad are like the first fighters he's brought from nothing, from debut to winning titles. So it's a nice little environment. It's a good his son Ellis, he's to me he's like my brother. He's like my brother. Brad, he's like my brother as well, and I look up to Terry like my dad. So he deserves everything and more.
That's Terry Stewart for people out there, just so you get some respect on his name. Going forward, you talked about how long you might stay at British level and so on, but what's the ultimate goal? Like, every fighter's going to say they want to win a world title, and I'm sure you're no different, but what are the other boxes you want to tick along the way?
I just want to make my family proud. I just want to make Terry proud. I want to make my family proud. I want to make myself proud, and no matter how far I go, as long as I'm happy and I've achieved enough, I don't care. World titles are great and this and that, but as long as I'm happy, I don't really care. I just want to push myself and get as far as I can. I don't really care about putting, I want this, I want that. I just want to just keep going. I just want to go as far as I can. How tall can a tree grow, really?
How quickly are you looking to get back out?
I'm looking to eat a lot before. I'm looking to eat a lot. So I think there was a sniff around September, something like that. So.
Yeah,
gives us 4 months.
October,
yeah. Gives us about 4 months after this one. Again, I don't really want to look too far ahead, but I'll probably be buzzing anyway. But yeah, it'd be it'd be nice to stay active, but I'm not in any rush.
Tell us a bit about your life outside the ring, like your family and so on. What do you get up to when you're not in the gym? Yeah. Napping, a lot of napping.
I don't really sleep at night. So yeah, I do a lot of napping, a lot of gaming. It's this thing called airsoft. It's basically a bunch of grown men get together in army gear and all that shit, get replica guns and run around shooting each other.
What, like reenactments or like more like laser tag or what?
No, we're better than laser tag. It's like paintballing but sweaty. You know, it's like you get all the gear, you do all the call outs, you've got proper guns, and it hurts when you get shot. So it's I occupy a lot of my time with that. Eating, I eat everything. I'll happily drive down to the other side of the country just for like a certain restaurant I've heard of. You know what I mean? If I wasn't a boxer, I'd be like Nazim, fat as fuck. But that's all.
Appreciate you watching, Prince.
But yeah, no, I like chill with my mum as well. Like, she's my fucking rock. So I don't do anything crazy. I don't really.
Does she watch you fight? Or some mums are squeamish.
No, she loves it. Nah, she's the opposite, man. She loves it more than like. I wouldn't say more than I do, but like she loves it. Like I couldn't watch someone that I love like fight. I couldn't send me. I put my hand in. When Brad fights, I had my head in my hands. Like I can't watch him. Like even when he's fighting before me on the 13th, I'm not watching that. I'm gonna try and sleep in the changing room and see what happens after. But no, I'm not. Yeah, I don't. I'm really squeamish and stuff like that. But she loves it. She'll be there like screaming like, yeah, get him, like do this, do that. She loves it. She proper loves it.
When we come back, you'll be facing a different style of questioning from Miss Georgia Banks in the hot seat.
Fun.
Why did you look at me like that?
Fun, I can't wait.
Disgusted.
Yeah.
Fighting out of Luton, Linus Udofia.
Linus Udofia, welcome to the hot seat. Are you ready?
Born ready.
Okay, this game is called The Worst People in the World. You just have to make a decision on who's your worst person. So, worst people in the world, people who are on the phone the whole gym session, or people who spar like they're competing and injure others.
People are on their phone the whole gym session. Like, what's the point? Why are you there? Like, go home and do it in bed or something. Don't be like standing around the machine. Don't be sitting around the leg press, take a photo of your feet and go, oh, I'm at the gym. It's just stand there all day. Like, I don't care who that triggers.
People who put clips on Smith machines, or people that don't wash their wraps.
Oh, who don't wash their wraps? Stinks, smells like eggs. It's like, sort it out, innit? Like, I don't want you like throwing punches at me and I'm thinking, what is that? Like, that stinks, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, it'll help my head movement, but nah, you gotta wash your wraps. Or buy a couple so you can at least like wash one week, and it's poor hygiene.
People who are overly cheesy on social media, or people who don't put their weights back in the gym. Nah,
it's cheesy pricks. Like, who raised you, man? Like, what are you doing? Like, the weights, like your gym employ cleaners, and they've like there's people that are employed to like rack weights back up, but there's no reason for you to be live, love, laugh pictures all over social media. Like, move, like that's not cool.
People who cheat workouts or circuits, sprints, etc., or cyclists riding two abreast.
Nah, you can overtake cyclists, but people that cheat a workout, the workout doesn't count automatically. Like, where are you at? Like, you're here to. Next question.
I've purposely picked things that trigger Linus, if you haven't noticed. People who kiss their dog on the mouth, or people who eat with their mouths open.
I've seen certain dogs eat their own and other people's shit. Why would you kiss that on the mouth? No. They kiss the dog on the mouth. That's disgusting.
People who leave their rubbish all over the gym, or people who want to have a full-blown conversation with you before 9 o'clock in the morning.
I'm not a morning person. Morning people can fuck off.
People who chew really loudly in your ear, or people that kick the spit bucket at the gym and stir up the smell.
My sister used to chew really loud until I
God, what did you do?
Like I what's the word? Got one of her hairbands and like timed it perfectly when she chewed, and it flicked her right in the mouth. got right in her mouth and she chewed her hairband and she never done it again. It really
That's
pisses
why
me
you
off.
do airsoft.
Yes, it really pissed me off. Yeah, loud chewers are just it's unnecessary. You got to hear that you're chewing that loud. It's not like listen to that. It's disgusting.
People that phlegm in the sink and don't wash it away, or drivers that don't wave a thank you when you let them out.
Nah, you ain't got to wave. You ain't got to wave. Like it's just the sink. My dad used to do that. It's disgusting. Like you know what? You know what a better one would have been? The people that go to like phlegm something up but don't spit it out. They swallow it. That's disgusting. But yeah,
I didn't even know people did that.
Huh?
I didn't even know people did that.
Oh yeah, you hang around like London or the Tube or on a site enough. Some nasty fuckers out here.
And last one, I just want to know who's the worst person in your gym and why.
Whoa!
I asked Harlan.
Whoa! No, you can't. No, you can't do that. You can't ask that.
Why
you
not?
can't ask that. You can't put people on blast like that. Ask me something else. Ask me something else. Think on the fly. Ask me something else.
Now you make me think.
Come on, would you rather?
I was going to say something really. Doesn't matter. We'll wrap it up.
Can I ask you one? Would you rather
Oh God.
lick the carpet of a pub floor?
Oh, you asked me this the other day.
Yeah, I want it on camera.
All right.
Would you rather lick the carpet of a pub floor
Yep.
or lick the back of a taxi?
Where in the back of a taxi?
The seat. Right in the crease.
Nothing really goes in the crease. Oh, fluff, I guess.
People's asses. A lot of farts.
Carpet.
Okay.
There we go.
Fighting out of Luton, Linus Udofia.
Well, that was as fun as we've come to expect. You've survived, Linus, so that's a plus. You got a British title fight not long away. Any closing remarks for the audience out there?
No, just, tune in Friday night and see me become the new British champion live on Channel 5.
And that's next week, Friday, by the way, for people who are watching when we first come out. Georgia, anything to say before we go? Put you on the spot? Yeah, thanks. Brilliant. Right, well, you could, if you want to watch if you want to listen to the podcast rather than just watch it on YouTube, we're now available on all major podcast platforms, including Podbean as well, the system that makes it all go for us. And we'll be back in around 2 weeks' time. So really appreciate you all watching. Please like and subscribe. Yo, Danny Flexen here. Think you know shit about boxing? There's only one way to find out. Listen to the full podcast via one of the links in the description or go to secondsoutboxing.podbean.com.
Do you know shit about boxing?